والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه من والاه. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So I've made a judgment call, and that judgment call is that we will not cover the rest of that review section. And the reason for that is I feel like in the spirit of this video, of this video series, we want to be as practical, as functional as possible. And a lot of that vocabulary it's good vocabulary, but you're not going to use it unless you're a teacher or something like that. And then the other thing is that for people who actually need to review, I wasn't actually reviewing the concepts. So it really was kind of in the middle of new vocabulary versus old vocabulary, and then it was just a lot of time. But anyways, so we'll just move straight along to the next conversation. We have here al-wahdatu thaniya. So here we know what this means. Al-wahda is the unit or the chapter. Al-thaniya is the second. Right, so second unit, second chapter. Here we have a new word, and this is al-usra. Al-usra or al-usratu. So al-usratu is the family. Okay, so this chapter is going to be about families and relationships and things like that. So this is our first conversation here. So al-wahdatu, and then we have the second. So this is al-wahdatu thaniya. So al-ard, we know al-ard is like demonstration. Ad-dars, so this is the seventh dars. And so some of the darses we skipped them from the end of that review section. And then here we have al-hiwar al-awwal, our good old friend, first conversation, unzur wastami' wa'id. So we know most of these. So here we have a small little heading, and some people might struggle with this because there is no haraka, but this says hiwar bayna Ali wa Ammar. Okay, so here the word to recognize is bayna. So bayna means between. Okay, so bayna is between. Ali and Ammar are names. So this is hiwar, we know, is conversation. So it's a conversation between Ali and Ammar. Okay, so Ali says assalamu alaikum. Ammar says wa alaikum assalam. Peace be upon you, peace be upon you. Ali says هذه سورة أسرتي. هذه سورة أسرتي. So I think all of this is probably new, so let's break it down. هذه is, actually we've seen هذه. هذا and هذه. هذا is this. Okay, and surah is a picture. Okay, surah is a picture. And come to think of it, the chapter is called Usra, and so we know Usrati is my family. So Ali is introducing this photograph. He says, this is a picture of my family. Okay, so Ammar says, Masha Allah. So Masha Allah, it might be familiar, but if we break it down, Ma is what? Okay, Ma can be used in many different ways in the Arabic language, but one of the meanings is what. Okay, so Sha or Sha'a is will, right? And Allah is Allah, God. So what God willed, right? And people say this, if you're not familiar with this phrase, people say this when they see something good or nice. They say what God willed, right? Meaning it's not good by itself, but it's good because God willed it to be this good, right? So that is MashaAllah. Ammar says, Man hadha. So man is a phrase, or it's a word that means who. Okay? So man hadha means who is this. So Ammar is here pointing at some person in the photograph, and he's asking for, he's like, oh, who is this? Introduce me. So Ali says, هذا والدي عدنان هو مهندس. هذا is this. Walidi is father. Or Walid is father. Walidi is my father. So this is my father. And who is his father? His father's name is Adnan. Okay? Huwa muhandis. He is an engineer. Okay? So Ammar says, وَمَنْ هَذِهِ. So here we notice the difference between man هذا وَمَنْ هَذِهِ. When he said man هذا, he was referring to a guy. And now when he's saying وَمَنْ هَذِهِ, he's referring to a girl. So Ali says, هذه والدتي سعيدة هي طبيبة. So walidati is the feminine of walidi, right? So we see this ta here, right? This ta indicates feminine, right? So walidati Sa'ida, Sa'ida is the name. Hiya tabiba, she is a doctor. Okay, so mashallah, very well-off family. One's an engineer, one's a doctor, right? Ammar says, وَمَنْ هَذَا. Ali says, هَذَا أَخِي. Akhi, I believe it came up. Akhi is my brother. Okay, هذا أخي Isa. Isa is his name. هو طالب. هو طالب. So he is a student. And by the way, just as a side note for those who are not aware, Isa is the Arabized version of Jesus, or Jesus, right? So that's just a fun fact for those who want to know. So then Ammar says, وَمَنْ هَذِهِ. So now he's referring to a female. Ali says, هَذِهِ أُخْتِي عَبْلَةً. Ukhti is sister. So this is my sister, Abla. Abla is her name. Hiya muallima. Hiya muallima. So muallima is another word for teacher. Okay, so she is a teacher. وَهَذَا جَدِّي وَهَذِهِ جَدَّتِي. So here we have jaddi, I think this is new, and jaddati, which we can infer is the feminine version of jaddi. So jaddi is grandfather, and jaddati is grandmother. Okay, so this is my grandfather, and this is my grandmother. So Ammar then says, Masha Allah. So here we have completed al-hiwar al-awwal, and so here we have the visual aids. So this is the picture right here. This is the picture of his family. These are his various relatives and their professions, right? So inshallah, go ahead and review this lesson, practice it with a friend, and inshallah I'll see you guys next video. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.